What is up? Welcome to my channel, Suck, and today I want to tell you about a really significant dream that I had June 19th of 2016. It is one of the only dreams that I have written down in detail. I know you can't see it there, but it just goes on and on and on. So I'm going to read this dream to you. I called it the tidal wave dream for lack of a better, name. But anyways, this is like a little mini story that I lived in my mind on the morning of June 19th, 2016. I wrote this at 9:14 a.m., just so you know. So this is the tidal wave dream, as I called it. Okay, so apparently I was driving in this little town in a valley. This little town was on a body of water, either a river or a lake, in between two what I would say are hills. Now, here in the eastern United States, we have, we refer to them as mountains, but they're like 900 to like 1,000 foot tall hills, and they're small compared to, major mountain ranges, but they're not small by any means. Basically what I'm saying is, if a wall of water is as tall as one of these hills, you're talking about like a 500 to 1,000 foot wall of water. Not something you want to see coming at you. Okay, let's get into this dream. So, I had a fancy car. Now, when I went to write this, I wrote Tesla Model 3 gray, or could be Model S. I don't know. The vibe I got in the dream is that my car was just like a plain gray color, that it was maybe electric, that it was newer. But that's the vibe that I got. But in real life, I do not want to own a gray car. Like, my car is white. I wish it were aqua. Like, anyways, moving on. So I parked across the street from a college town theater, and I believe it was like a really old, historic, kind of run down theater that would have been used for like opera and plays back in the day, and then today it was just being used for like comedy and dancing, music, maybe a club at night, maybe adjacent to like a kind of a college town bar. Anyways, I got the idea that this was kind of like a middle America, kind of semi-urban, semi-rural, like old college town. So not wealthy, not fancy, but just living, like existing. Okay, so I parked behind a green two-door older American pickup truck. Then I went inside the theater. I walked in by myself down across the street into the theater. There was a comedy routine, and it ended, and people were supposed to vote for a winner, and then there would be a bonus round. Then the dream transitioned into there being a movie or something playing after, and all of a sudden the lights go out. I was sitting near an old concrete pole, concrete support pole in the theater, and I could feel it start to vibrate uncontrollably, and then the pole started to actually stretch sideways. Not sure, what I mean by that, but like it's hard to explain, but it's a dream. So so there was apparently a girl sitting next to me, near this pole, and me and her, or her and I, grammar, got scared, and she said to me, "This is going to be a massive earthquake." And I don't know who this woman or this girl was. She was a younger girl, probably in her 20s. So the earthquake starts. It did turn out to be an earthquake, and we realize, oh, by the way, we're in this old historic theater, and this is a massive earthquake. We need to get outside. This building's, we were fearing for our lives and thinking that we'd be crushed in the building, that we need to get outside and just get to our cars. So we run outside, we start running to our cars, and she gets in the old green truck that was sitting in front of my car. And I try to find my car, and my car is nowhere. And then the girl like starts driving away because, you know, just she doesn't want to, you know, nobody wants to really be in that area. You know, it's just an earthquake's happening, and like you want to get out of there and get to where you feel you're going to be safe at. And that didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't feel like a safe place. That's when I noticed the body of water that was down below this town or city or wherever I was at, in this valley. There was a giant, hang on, I lost it. There was a giant tidal wave headed right at us. So I can't find my car. There's like nobody around. There's really no cars around. And I noticed this giant wave just kind of washing up all the way to the top of the opposite side of this valley on this like 500 to 1,000 foot, American hill. Like, and I'm like, where's it going to go? It's going to come back down that hill and right directly at me, in the theater. And I have no car. All I can do is run. So I start running. I'm like, nope. Like, Lord Jesus, take over my body. We're running. Like, I didn't say that in the dream. Like, there wasn't any religious connotations yet. Later in the dream, I think there's a little bit of that. So I decide I am going to run towards the hill that's behind me. I'm going to run all the way up this giant hill trying to outrun this wave. So I run up the street, I take a left, and I come to a parkway that I drove down to get, to where I was. And a parkway is it's a different thing all around the world, but what I mean is here in the United States, I mean a 4-lane roadway where the speed limit's probably about 40 to 45 miles an hour. There's red lights kind of broken up down the parkways. And there's like a little tiny strip of concrete or grass median separating the lanes. That's what I mean by a parkway. And this was a parkway in the style of being in the middle of an old middle America working class kind of city. If you, like an urban place. So I hope that makes sense. If you Google Corning, New York, Denison Parkway, and go down and into the street view, that's kind of what I'm talking about. So then I start running down the parkway because I'm like, there's a wave coming. And I realize that I'm running broadside the wave that is heading up this valley towards me. And I try to get people to let me in their car because I know if I do not get away, I will drown in this wave. Apparently, I remember exactly that there was a red Chevy Cruze that went speeding by me going down the parkway because apparently people finally realized, oh crap, there's a tidal wave coming like up this river or whatever in a valley. Like, there's nowhere to go. Get out, get up that hill. So anyways, the fact that I know it was a red and it was a Chevy and it was a Cruze. And it was the it's not the brand new model either. It was like a 2000, probably around a 2010. When they had the Cruze Eco model. I know what it looked like. That's whatever. So eventually I was running and running and running, and I caught up to the girl in the green truck. Don't know how. And when I was running, I screamed, "Can I please get in the truck bed?" And then I just jumped in, and I was hanging on while she was flying down this parkway. And I was in the back of this rusted truck bed with the bed of the truck open, just hanging on for dear life. And then I shouted to her because she's driving, and I'm hanging on in the back of her truck, and I'm like, you have to go up the hill. You have to try to live. That's what I told her. And so she did. But at some point, the water from this giant tidal wave caught up with us and was hitting us, or hitting the truck, I suppose. And eventually it spun the truck all the way around facing the opposite direction. But there was still traction. And so the girl just floors it, hoping that, she's, going to get somewhere. At this point, I realized that the girl apparently had a friend that was also a girl who was sitting in the passenger seat of the truck with her. I don't know why at this point I realized that there was another girl in the truck. I just, it's a dream. Then the truck angled upward, like sloped, you know, the same way that the hill was. The front of the truck was facing straight up the hill. Like it was kind of like, like that. It was rising. And the truck started to float on top of the wave and kind of ride the wave up the hill, which was kind of bizarre. And then I said in the dream, if you can keep the truck at that angle, I think we will be all right. So we ride the wave up the hill, but eventually the truck disappears. And I don't remember the girls opening the doors and getting out of the truck. Kind of dream logic here. It just kind of cuts and you don't really see everything. But I saw the truck just kind of sink into the water, and the two girls were out, kind of floating, swimming in the water. And then, of course, I was in the truck bed, so I was just automatically floating on the water. So the truck disappeared under the water, and then we were just floating in calmer water at the top of this tidal wave. We were almost at the crest of the wave, and almost to the top of the mountain. So then this girl says to me, if we can just make it through the other side, we can make it. So we could see the top of this hill. We could see the land through the top of the wave. So basically we are kind of like, we ended up somehow riding the backside of the wave. I don't know how. And we could see the mountain on the other side. So we swam through the top of this giant tidal wave to get to the mountain on the other. Like, it doesn't really make any sense, but it's a dream. So, so we could see the land through the top of the wave at that point. I said something about believing in God and that we have to try if we made it. So I can't remember what I said, but I have a feeling it was something like, if we made it that far, then we must have God on our side, so we have to keep trying. I don't know. It's something like that. So I said something about believing in God and that we have to try to make it, that if we made it that far, then we have to keep going. I just kind of repeated myself. I'm sorry. So we managed to somehow swim through the top of the tidal wave and reach the top of the mountain, and climbed up above the wave to an easy to hold on spot. Now, this is the part that I don't remember writing, and I don't know, I don't remember this being in the dream, but I specifically wrote every single detail that I could in this dream. So, then apparently, I had a cat. I don't know what that means. I in the dream, I had a cat, in my house, or, as a pet or something, because I don't have any pets in real life, at the moment. So apparently I had a cat. And then in this dream, at the top of this mountain, I found a white cat and thought it was mine. And I thought that this cat was mine. But then this girl says, well, that's just a kitten. Did you have a kitten? And I was like, no, I had a full grown cat. But I held on to this cat, or, I guess it was this little white kitten to keep it safe. And then at some point the water receded, without me actually, watching it recede. So I didn't see the water, the whole thing happen. I just kind of at some point the water was just gone. And I said out loud, I don't know if I was saying it to these girls or whatever, but I said, I couldn't find my car, and that's why I jumped in the back of your truck. Kind of that's something I would say in real life. I would have been like, I didn't know what to do, so I did it. My bad. But I said, the girl said, oh, well, I can see your car from here because we're on top of the hill. She's like, she's pointing at it. She's like, it's right down there in the parking lot. I could see your car from here. And then I looked down to see the water gone, and this town, or, small city, was just a sopping mess. Everything was wet. There were blue tarps, on buildings. There were flashing emergency lights, the red and the white and the blue, just flashing all over the town. There were, very few people You know, kind of like walking around in this destroyed, you know, kind of American, you know, town or city or whatever. Um, and and I wrote, and I could see perhaps the roof of my car somehow still sitting near where I parked it. And that's all I have. That's literally the end. That's the end of it. so so I don't know what that dream's about, but I kind of feel like there's some like little funny things sprinkled in. It's like where, you know, what happened to my car? It's like all like I drove my car to this place, then I go into this theater, then there's an earthquake, then I run outside, my car's literally missing. It's literally not where I parked it. Like literally my car just disappeared. And so I'm running and running and running, you know, trying to get away from this wave. Like there's no way. Like this is a freaking tidal wave. It's a wall of water. It's coming into a valley. Like there's nowhere for us to go but to get up this hill because there's, you know, we're not going to outrun this. And then I jump into the back of a pickup truck and we're like trying to drive up this freaking hill fast enough, but we, you know, the water and the wave catches up to us, but instead of like, you know, killing us, like the wave like lifts this truck and like this giant, not giant, but like probably like a 1980s, 1990s, like 2-door green Ford or Chevy pickup truck. Like it's not light, like it's not a boat, like it's not, you know, I mean, trucks can float, but this isn't like a friggin', it's not meant to do that. And it just kind of like just floats us up. And then we get almost to the top and then the truck sinks below the water. And then like we're on top of it. Somehow we swim through the top of a tidal wave and like grab onto like the top of this mountain and like we're fine. And then the wave and all the water like goes away and disappears. And we're like looking down on this, you know, and I like randomly just find a white kitten and I'm like holding onto it, keeping it safe. And then we're just like looking down at this like destroyed town with like all the emergency vehicles and all this stuff, like, you know, coming in, trying to save people, make sure, you know, fix stuff, get everything going again. You know, tarps on the buildings, everything's wet, obviously. And, you know, you think a wave that big, there would have been like literally nothing left. Like it would have just scraped everything off. But there was like still like the buildings were like there and everything. And then this girl is like, oh, by the way, there's your fancy car. Like, it's just sitting where you left it, and it's fine. And I'm just like, there was a tidal wave. Like, my car is not just going to be sitting where I left it. Like, first of all, it disappeared. It was not where I... Anyways, dream logic. Who freaking knows? But if you live in a college town, if you live in a valley, if you live below a dam, I'm not trying to scare you, but I would... you might want to move to higher ground. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, and also I don't know why I had a fancy gray Tesla. I think it was a Tesla. Sorry about my lighting. Like I want like a bright car. Like I want an aqua car. Like why was I driving a gray car? Anyways, so that's just something I've noticed. But I don't know if that dream is a prophecy. I doubt it. I don't know if that dream is just insanity. I don't know if that was my dream just having an experience. But there you go. There's the dream. It was so detailed. Like this doesn't seem that long, but it was so long. I remember it just like dream sequencing. It wasn't just like, you know, flash, wake up, done. It was like scene, detail, like little pieces of information. It really felt like I was actually doing something in real life, like, oh, you know, like being in a natural disaster movie in real life. But, okay, I'll stop rambling. I just wanted to put this out there. That dream happened 6/19/16 for anyone who's wondering. I wrote that down at 9:14 a.m. in the morning after I woke up, just so everyone is aware. But anyways, that is going to conclude today's video. I just remember that dream being so vivid and so detailed that I really wanted to write it down. I almost never write down my dreams. I have had some other interesting dreams that I might make another short video on. But anyways, having said that, I'm going to try to put a video out every single day in February. That's my goal. I'll see you around my channel. And as always, peace and see you in the next one. Bye!